while we're waiting just another minute, I'm going to show you guys a couple of the acupressure points that we're going to do, because I'm going to be back on my mat in a moment and it'll be a little harder to see me. So I'm going to do that really quickly. So if you guys want to take a look. The first one is going to be along the pinky side of your hand. And you're going to trace a line from your inner pinky down to your wrist. And then you're going to feel there's a little tendon. You're going to go right on the inside of that tendon. So this is a point for anxiety that we're going to start with. And we're going to put it here on our heart. Okay, so that's number 1 point. Number 2 is going to be on the other hand. We're going to go from the wrist crease down about 1 inch. And it's right in the center of the wrist. So this is a pericardium point, also for kind of fear, anxiety. So we're going to work in the beginning to clear out kind of fear and anxiety, things like that, so that we can be more open to inviting in our new year. So those are the 2 points along the pinky side, down from your wrist, inside the tendon, and on the middle of the wrist. I'm going to repeat that when we get to the practice. And then the third one is on the back of your head. So center of the back of your skull is first point. And then we're going to go over about 1 inch. So center of the back of the skull is called the atlas point. And then we're going to go over about 1/2 inch to 1 inch right over the tendon into a little depression. And that's a gallbladder point. Gallbladder relates to our ability to make decisions and move forth with our ideas. So we'll be working on that as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I know there's probably going to be people popping in, so I might check on that in a little bit. So let's head to our mats. I'm going to head back. Okay. So go ahead and find a nice tall spine, comfortable seat of your choosing. If you are sitting cross-legged, you might want to take a moment, widen out your sit bones so you feel very grounded through your base. And then we're going to just take a couple moments to settle here. Those of you who wanted to start music, I forgot to mention, you could start that. I did send you guys the playlist. It's also in the chat box. All right. So take some nice, slow, soft breaths into your belly, letting the shoulders relax, the face relax. And just take a couple moments to focus on your breath. So I designed the sequence today. It's going to be related to the principles of Chinese medicine. We're going to work liver, gallbladder, which relate to our vision and our clarity, which is the name of our practice today. We're also going to work kidney, bladder meridians, which relate to fear and anxiety. And these pathways run through the body and can get blocked. So it's related to the flow of prana, the flow of chi through our bodies. And so as we work on these different postures, I'd like you to just keep in mind that we're starting to open up these channels so that energy can flow more freely through the meridian pathways. So let's go ahead and take about 3 more breath cycles there. And as you take those next couple breaths, I just want to share a little quote with you. This is from T.S. Eliot. I thought this was really great for starting out our new year, ending and beginning. So I see a couple people waiting. I'm just going to admit them quickly. Great. Please make sure you guys stay muted. Okay, so here's the quote. For last year's words belong to this year's language, and next year's words await another voice. And to make an end is to make a beginning. Just going to read that one more time. For last year's words belong to last year's language and next year's words await another voice. And to make an end is to make a beginning. So if your eyes are closed, go ahead, open your eyes. And we're going to start our first acupressure point. So I shared that with you guys. It's along the pinky side of your hand. You're going to slide your thumb down to your wrist. Feel for a little tendon, and you're going to go right inside that tendon and press. And then place your hand over your heart. That's it. And we're just going to take about a minute to breathe here. Again, this is a point for calming fear and anxiety. Soft breath into the belly, shoulders relax. Now, as you continue to breathe, I have a couple of readings for you today, just in the beginning and end of practice. And this is from a new book I'm reading called Oneness. And she writes that a vast interdimensional conversion in consciousness is presently transpiring throughout every level of creation. Awareness of your own involvement in this process marks the onset of shifts in life circumstances calculated to carry you to a level of consciousness that is unprecedented in your dimension. As you experience these shifts and the energies carry you to ever higher levels of awareness, your attunement to the higher frequencies becomes stabilized. Now we're going to switch to the other side, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a moment. So now on your other hand, find your center of your wrist crease, and you're going to slide down about a ½ inch to an inch, right over that, kind of feel there's a little bit of a dip there. That's the next point. Hand to the heart, and press, and we'll hold there for a little bit. So the whole idea is that we are in charge of our reality. We have influence over our reality. And a lot of it has to do with our thought patterns, our frequencies. So when I'm talking here about fear and anxiety, we can think of those as kind of lower level frequencies. So I'm going to read a little bit more here. Experience that evoke what you might consider to be the lower emotions are magnetized to you by your conditioned tendency to sustain the familiar, diminished vibrational state. And it becomes a matter of choice as to whether or not you remain at those lower energy levels and thus attract experiences, energies, and consciousness that do not necessarily support your higher potential. So we keep our frequency up, moving into things like love, peace, harmony. Basically, the frequencies of the heart space, which is why we're placing our hand at our heart. We're going to be more likely to kind of manifest those positive things in our lives. Hold here another breath cycle. Good, and then slowly release the points, let your hands come down. Take another breath or two here, and just maybe think about the flow of energy through your arms, through your wrists, through your hands. From here, we're going to be coming onto our backs, and we're going to move into a core practice, get a little fire energy going. We're working with fire element, water element, which are both very clearing and cleansing. So you can go ahead and come on your back when you are ready. And you don't really need anything here other than just being on your mat. We're going to have our feet flat and our knees bent. If you came in late, we're working with the acupressure point behind the back of the skull. So I'm going to show that one more time. You're going to place your thumbs right in the middle of the center of the back of your skull, where your hairline meets your neck. So that's called the occipital ridge. So put your hands behind the back of your head and place your thumbs right in the center. And we're going to hold there for a few breaths and windshield wiper your knees from side to side. And just hold that center point. in the back of the skull. And do that for about 3 more cycles on each side. And then eventually go ahead and come back to the center, set your feet flat. Now we're going to slide the thumbs apart about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Just kind of feel around. You might find a little tender spot there in the back of the skull, about 1 inch or so away from the center. And we're pressing there again. Hold for a few breaths and windshield wiper your legs side to side. So windshield wipers also get into the hips and the inner and outer leg. The kidney and liver meridians flow up the inner leg and the gallbladder channel on the outer leg. Bladder meridian runs up the back chain of the body, which we'll work on a bit when we stretch the back body. Okay, come back to the center, both feet flat. Release the points of where your thumbs are, but keep your hands behind the back of your head. We're going to do a little arch and curl here. It's going to look like a sit-up, but it's also nervous system balancing, because what we're going to do is arch the spine as we inhale and curl up on the exhale. So hands behind your head. As you inhale, arch your spine away from the ground. Your elbows press down, your back lifts, your tailbone stays down nice and heavy. And now as you exhale, we're going to curl up. Elbows in, press your lower back, and curl up. And now repeat. Inhale, arching the spine, elbows spread. Exhale, curl up. Squeeze into your lower abdomen, and then continue. So remember the arch on the inhale, and then press the lower back on the exhalation phase. And as you curl up, think about your navel center pulling down. So activating the center of the body where it's the home to the fire element. Fire is very cleansing, helps us clear things out that are no longer serving us. Keep going a few more cycles. And let's emphasize the exhalation phase. So as you keep going, as you curl up, can you stay in that exhalation phase a little longer and feel like you're really pressing out all the air? So complete your exhale phase. And again, that's very cleansing and clearing. We're going to start to go on a diagonal. So go ahead and come down and pause for a moment so I can explain this next part. So we're going to continue to inhale, arch, and you're going to look over your right shoulder and try to look at your elbow. So we'll work with our vision a bit. And as you exhale, you're going to take that right elbow, cross it over to the left knee. And then release, inhale, come down, arch, look over your left shoulder, try to look at your elbow, and then elbow to knee cross. Okay? So work with your vision here. In our lifestyle, modern lifestyle, we're constantly looking ahead at a screen or down at a screen. And we start to lose that peripheral vision. When it comes to having this clarity and vision for our new year, we want to be able to see the bigger picture. So go ahead and work with the eyes as you continue a few more cycles. As you curl up, really press into that lower back region. Activate your lower abdominals. And emphasize your exhalation phase, clearing out. Clear out stagnation in the body. One more on each side. Remember to look over that elbow. Good, and release. Go ahead and pause for a moment, so I'll explain the next cycle. We're doing a little bit more core work here, guys. So as we curl up, we're actually giving a good squeeze to the inner organs, particularly on that right side is the liver, which helps us clear out toxins from the body. So we keep our liver energy really clear rather than stagnant liver chi. Big issue. A lot of us have stagnant liver chi. So now we're going to go in and out in a small pulsation. So let me explain it. We're going to inhale into that arch, look over your elbow again. And then right elbow, left knee. And we're going to hold it and go out about 1/3 and go back in. We're going to do that 3 times. Back out, back in, just 1/3 of the way. So we maintain a contraction. And then we're going to hold it, squeeze it as long as you can. Hard to talk while I'm doing that. And then we'll release, come down and arch. Look over your opposite shoulder. Okay, so let's give that a try. Inhale, arch, look over your shoulder towards your elbow, cross to the opposite knee. Go out 1/3, slight inhale, exhale, squeeze in. Out 1/3, exhale, squeeze in. Out 1/3, exhale, hold it, squeeze it, compact. When you're ready, release. Inhale, arch, look over your opposite shoulder to your elbow. Come up, and again, in and out 3 times. So it's a slight pulsation. You're not coming down all the way. And after the 3rd one, you're gonna hold it, squeeze it, really bring it in. And then release. We've got one more time on each side, on your own. Last one. Good, and release. All right, let's let everything go. Let your legs slide out for a moment. Send some breath into the area of your belly. Just feel that energy you just created by stimulating the fire element in the core of the body. Hopefully maybe you're warmed up a little bit. We're gonna bring right knee into the chest. Give it a good squeeze and then extend that leg up towards straight. Hold behind the back of your thigh. So now this is Bladder Meridian, which goes through the sole of your foot, up the back of your leg, all the way up your back. It ends coming over the top of your skull to your eyes. And what we're going to do here is pump the foot. So we're going to flex and point the foot a few times. Just waking up the fascia in the back of the leg. Often tight, especially if we're one prone to fear and anxiety. The back chain of the body tends to be tighter when we experience those kinds of emotions. It's a little bit more stimulated through our spine and our nervous system. Okay, pause, flex your foot, extend through both heels. Now reach your arms forward. Take an inhale. As you exhale, option to lift your head, chest, shoulders, and hug the inner thighs to the midline. Maybe float that left leg off the ground. See if you can lift a little higher, reach through your heels, and start to press into your lower back. Back of the neck stays long. One more breath. And release. Hug that knee back into your chest. And then a full body stretch. Inhale, arms and legs reach out. And then bring that left knee in. Okay, from here, extend that leg up. Hold behind the back of the leg. And just pump your foot. Flex and point. Feel how that foot, the fascia of your foot, is connected into the back of your leg. All right, hold it, flex the foot, reach through both heels. You can stay right here or take an inhale. As you exhale, arms reach forward, lift your head, chest, shoulders. Option to float that right leg up. And we're hugging to the midline. Inner thighs hug in and start to press into that lower back. Lift a little higher. Back of the neck long. One more breath. Good. Release. Hug that knee into the chest. And we take a full body stretch. As you exhale, both knees hug in. Lift your head, chest, and shoulders. Make a little ball. Squeeze your belly. And repeat. Inhale, full body stretch. Exhale, knees hug in like a pulsation. Everything in the universe is a pulsation. We call it spanda in yoga. It's like the breath is a pulsation. Expansion, contraction. One more time. This time, hug it in as long as you can. Squeeze the belly toward the spine. Make a tight little ball. And then release. Feet flat. Pause. Breathe in your belly. And then we're going to make our way over onto our side and come up into tabletop. We're going to go onto all fours. So you might wish to pad your knees if you have sensitive knees. Okay, so we're going to set up for our cat-cow spinal undulation. But today, I'd love for you to see if you could close your eyes. If that makes you dizzy or uncomfortable, do keep them open. But if you could, close your eyes and start to focus at your brow center, third eye point. And then we're going to take our cat-cows, if we can, with eyes closed. So inhale, arching your spine. Keep that inner gaze focused at the brow center. And then exhale, round. And then keep that going, moving slowly. Inhale, arch, tailbone and head move away. Exhale, round, tailbone and head move towards each other. 3 more cycles. Pressing evenly through your palms. Emphasize your exhalation phase. Really pull that navel up towards your spine. Very cleansing to work with this kind of squeezing of the belly of our vital organs. Last cycle. And then after that next exhale, let's move back into a child's pose. If possible, take the knees nice and wide. So we get into the inner seam of the legs. Tip your sit bones back. And then place your forehead on your palms. And let your head roll gently side to side. So we're going to also work today with the area of the Ajna chakra, the brow center, which is said to be our area of our inner vision, our power of visualization, imagination, and bringing things into manifestation. All right, go ahead and release. Come back up into your tabletop position. Again, if it's comfortable, close your eyes, find that brow center focus. Take an inhale and slightly lift your gaze, your chest, back of the neck long. And as you exhale, tuck your toes, lift up, downward facing dog. Knees lift off the ground, let the crown of the head release. And then shake it out a little bit. Almost feel like you're emptying out through the crown of your head. And now let's repeat that movement. Knees down, inhale, slightly looking up with your eyes closed. Exhale, downward facing dog. And again, if eyes closed is disorienting, keep the eyes open. 2 more cycles. Inhale, knees down, lift the chest and the forehead. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more time. When we hold our dog now, stay in the dog. Now I want you to imagine that your dog is a triangle and your sit bones and your hip creases are the peak of that triangle. Press into the balls of your feet. Really lift your sit bones, lift your hips up high and let your head drop lower. So that peak point, top of the triangle is lifting high. We get a bit of an inversion. Strong arms. Last breath. And then when you're ready, knees down, come back down, child's pose. And you can take arms forward if you like, or continue to stack your hands under your forehead. And then let's take another breath or two there. And then we're gonna move a little bit more. And when you are ready, let's come back up, downward facing dog. Once again, if it's comfortable, close the eyes, brow center focus. And now we go dog to plank. So inhale, plank pose, shoulders over the wrist, crown of the head extends. And then lift back up, downward facing dog. Trying a couple like this. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, down dog. Keep that inner focus, one more cycle. And now we come back to plank pose. Option to drop your knees. We're going to lower all the way down, coming onto your belly. Hands by your lower chest, forehead on the ground. As you inhale, shoulders roll back, heart forward, cobra pose. Maybe the eyes could be closed. Release, forehead to the ground. 2 more cycles, shoulder heads back, lift up. Keep that chin very neutral, back of the neck long, and release, forehead down. Last time we hold, lift up, press down and apart with your palms, heart forward. Gazing at that brow center, maybe tip your chin up and lengthen through the back of the neck, opening up more into your heart space and your throat. And release. Downward facing dog, you can come through all fours as a modification or go right to your dog. Go ahead, walk your feet forward, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine, hands on your thighs. Exhale, folding forward. 2 more like that. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale and fold. 1 more cycle, please. And then on your next inhalation, let's rise all the way up. Circle the arms out. And then we're going to bring the palms together and bring your knuckles right in front of your brow center. So your thumbs are right in front of your forehead. We're going to pause there. Gently press your thumbs and your forehead into each other. Notice how that tones your neck muscles. Stay there, and we're going to start to lift the chin, start to take the head back. As you do so, keep the back of the neck long. The forehead and the thumbs are pressing into each other as you tip your head back to your capacity. Good, slowly rising up, forehead and thumbs still pressing. Very good, and then release. Inhale, circle the arms up. Half sun salutation, exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold, give a little squeeze to the lower abdomen. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. 2 more cycles, half sun salutation. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Forward fold, exhale, squeeze your belly, complete that exhale, and then inhale, circle, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. One more time through, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, complete the exhale, squeeze your belly. Inhale, arms reach, circle up. And hands to your heart. Okay, make sure you have your yoga blocks at the top of your mat. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can just go ahead and modify as best you can. They're basically a little assist so we can step back through some lunge work. If your knees are sensitive, make sure you have a blanket nearby. You can pull that in to support your knees, okay? Standing mountain pose at the top of your mat. Inhale, circle your arms up. Exhale, fold, hands to blocks. As you inhale, step your right foot to the back of your mat and move your blocks back so they're under your shoulders. We're going to drop down onto that back knee, padded if you need to. Back toes could be tucked or flat, your choice. And then when you're ready, we're transitioning the hands up onto your front thigh. Find your stability here. We're going to root down into the ground. Hug your inner thighs towards each other. Have a sense of your tailbone hooking forward until you feel a little stretch in your back hip flexor. We're going to keep that and slide a little deeper into your front knee. And then back out. Okay, so inhale here. Exhale, slide deeper. One more time, inhale. Exhale, slide deeper. Now hold that deeper lunge, hooking the tailbone forward, lifting your belly, hands to your heart. Good, now let's put the thumbs at the forehead like we did when we were standing. Keep deepening into your lunge. Start to lift your chin, take your head back, and you're pressing your thumbs and your forehead into each other, which will help keep the back of your neck from collapsing. Go to your capacity here. Hold it, one more breath. Good, slowly release, hands back to your blocks. Lift the back knee, tucking those toes, move the blocks forward, step forward, and fold over your legs. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good, and let's go again. Other side, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold, hands to blocks. As you inhale, left foot steps to the back of your mat, move your blocks back in line with your front foot and drop down onto that back knee. Toes are tucked or untucked, and then hands to your thigh. Find your stability first by rooting down, hugging into the midline, and then we hook the tailbone forward, lifting the front of the belly. Take an inhale, exhale, slide into that front knee a bit more, and a couple more rounds. Keep the chest lifted. Try not to kind of dump energy into your lower back. I want you to keep that tailbone hooked, and then pause. Pause in that deeper lunge, hands to heart. Always stay there if that's too much for you, and then knuckles to forehead. Press the thumbs and forehead together and start to lift your chin and come into a bit of a back bend. The forehead is pressing up into the fingers, back of the neck long. Stand strong in the front foot. One more breath. Good, release, hands to blocks. Lift the back knee, blocks forward, step forward. Fold over your legs. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on thighs. Step back, downward facing dog. Knees down to the ground. Inhale, circle the arms up, stand on your knees. Good. From here, bring the thumbs in front of the forehead. Press. Pull the tailbone down, lift the front of the belly up, and then starting that little back bend here. So almost like a camel pose. The pressing forehead and thumbs start to take your head back. Now keeping the forehead pressing up, see if you can take your arms and open them out to the sides. Very kind of receptive gesture. Lift your heart space. And then hands back down. And if you can, sit on your heels. If that's not good for you, you can come into child's pose or stay up on your knees. If you decided for child's pose, roll the forehead a little bit. If you are seated, we're going to take our hands to the center of the forehead like you're going to open a window. So your fingers are meeting center of forehead. We're going to drag those fingers apart as if we're opening up that brow center and then sweep the hands off. It's like an energetic opening of the third eye. So do that 2 or 3 more times. It's like you're pulling open a shutter or a window and then kind of shaking any energy off that we want to release. Good. Okay. Everyone, tabletop position. You can come up on your blocks if that's helpful. We're going to step the right foot forward. Come into a lunge again. Inhale, this time circle the arms up, overhead, palms together. Slide the palms to the brow center, press. Deepen into your front knee, tip back, back bend. And rising back up, reach the arms up and release your hands down to the ground or your blocks. So I'm going to just show with the blocks. Lift your back knee off the ground and power up that back leg. Hug your hips into center and reach your heart forward. From here, bring your right hand onto your thigh and press your hand into that thigh and start to turn open into a twist to your right. So you're pushing down into your thigh, push down into the floor or the block and turn. Now top hand on your top rib cage. That's the area of your liver. And I'd like you to take your hand and start to pull the flesh, pull the rib cage deeper into that twist. Inner thighs hug in, bottom hand presses, and now reach the top arm straight up. Open up into that twist. Always feel free to modify, listen to your body. You can always keep that back knee down. One more breath. Good, release, top hand down. Back knee back down onto the ground. Using blocks or not, we're going to start to straighten the front legs. You might need to move your back knee back a little bit, kind of wiggle your front foot forward. We're in a half split posture. Pause here. If you can, you're up on your blocks. Tip your sit bones back, inner thighs back, lengthening your lower back. Spread your toes. Option to stay right here or start to fold over your legs. So you could lower your blocks or bring your hands to the ground. We're going to tuck the chin in a little bit and lengthen the back of the skull, that area of the gallbladder that we worked on our backs. So now we're again stretching the back chain of the body. This is Bladder Meridian. Kind of opening up these channels that get a little blocked when we are in fear and anxiety. One more breath cycle here. And then we're going to slowly re-bend into that front knee. You might want to have your blocks again. Step that foot back. Come into a brief child's pose. Inhale up on your knees. Reach your arms up. Thumbs to the forehead. Press. Inhale and take it into your back bend. Tailbone anchors down. Keep pressing thumb and forehead into each other. Stay there or open the arms out wide. And then circle all the way. If you're going farther, interlace your hands behind your back and pull the palms apart. Open the heart space. Good, release. Circle the arms up and either sit back on your heels or come into child's pose or stay up on your knees. Just a breath. Okay, let's do that lunge sequence other side. Bring the hands forward either to tabletop or use your blocks. Step forward, left foot. Pad that back knee. Inhale, circle the arms up. Good, hands to the brow center, press. Deepen into your lunge, come into your back bend. Good, release the arms up, circle them back down to the blocks or the floor, and we're lifting that back knee off the ground. And keep it down if you feel better that way. Hug into the center with your inner thighs, and then left hand on left thigh. Press into that thigh, press into your right hand, and start to turn open into your twist to your left. That's it. And then when you're ready, left hand to your rib cage. Pull the flash, turn deeper into that twist. And as you're ready to, reach the arms straight up. Open wide across the chest. Good, and release, hand down, back knee back to the ground. And then preparing for that half split, you could walk your hands back, you could walk your knee back, front foot wiggles forward, and we straighten that front leg. Be mindful of not jamming your knee, so a little bit of a micro bend, please. Send your inner thighs back, and you'll feel that lengthening of the tissue in the back of your leg. Take an inhale, exhale, option to fold forward. You can move your blocks if you can easily reach the ground without a big rounding in your back. Chin comes in. Keep sending inner thighs back toward the back of your mat. All right, slowly starting to come back up. We're bending into that front knee. Blocks if you need them. Step back, tabletop position. Circle your hips around this time. Just getting a little bit of fluidity there in the hips. And then circle the other direction. Back to the center, step the right foot forward. You can always put blocks on your hands for that stepping forward. Now this time we're going to take the right foot all the way to the right side of the mat. And take your left knee and widen it a little bit to the left so we make more space in the pelvis. Okay, you can stay right here. Or the next stage, we're going to try and do what's called the winged dragon or the winged lizard. We're going to let the right knee drop open to the side. And we're coming onto the pinky edge of that front foot. So we're opening here the channel of the liver and the kidney meridian on the inseam of the leg. So if that's too much on your knee, you're going to keep that foot flat. Some of you might choose to come down to the ground on your forearms. You could also modify by putting your blocks under your forearm. So your choice, we're gonna hold for 3 breaths. If you want more power here, you could always tuck your back toes, lift the back knee. Totally your choice, I'm keeping mine down. You might even rest your brow center on your thumbs or a block. Okay, from here, we're going to do the similar twist. We're going to bring our right hand to the right inner thigh. Press your thigh and your hand into each other and start to turn open. Remember your hand on your top ribs and turn your top rib cage open. Press into your bottom arm, and we're going to hold another breath. All right, slowly release. Bring yourself back to center. Walk your foot back to center. Grab your blocks, if you have them. We're tucking the back toes, lifting the back knee. You're in a lunge. Take an inhale, your heart reaches forward. As you exhale, we're going to straighten the front leg. And then repeat. Bend the knee as you inhale, heart forward. Exhale, and feel like you're pushing your foot forward into your mat to help lengthen the leg. One more time. Bend, inhale, reach forward with the knee, and exhale, straighten. We're pausing here, modified pyramid pose. Hug your inner thighs. Send your inner thighs back. Push forward a little bit with your front foot isometrically. Stay here or fold over your front leg. In which case you can lower your blocks or bring your hands to the floor. Let the chin come in, so we're lengthening the back of the neck, freeing up that gallbladder channel, also bladder meridian right here. Let's slowly release, drop down onto your back knee. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Hold your dog for a breath. And then you can either step your left foot forward from dog or bring your knees down and then step forward. It's a little bit easier to step forward without the knee down. And let's start that sequence on the other side with that winged lizard. So walk the foot out to the side, widen your back knee, make space, and then roll onto the pinky edge of that front foot if it feels appropriate for you to do so. Always listen to your body. Staying up on your palms or dropping down. You can use blocks under your forearms or come all the way to the ground. Maybe resting your third eye on your thumbs or a block. Maybe that back knee lifts up if you want a little more power. Last couple breaths. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to come into the twist. So you're going to bring left hand to left inner thigh, press them into each other, and start to turn your chest open into the twist. So I'm going to watch you guys. I'm not turning away. That's it. Remember the hand on the top rib cage. Rotate that rib cage toward the ceiling. Open it up. Holding it there. Another breath. Slowly release it. Walk yourself back to the center. And grabbing those blocks if you need them for your modified pyramid pose. We're lifting the back knee off the ground. And then when you're ready, we're going to do a couple rounds. bending on the inhale. Exhale, slide the hips back, straighten the leg. 2 more cycles. Resist the back heel back, even as the front knee comes forward. 1 more time. And now let's hold it, both legs straight. Try not to lock that front knee. Hug the inner thighs into center. Send your sit bones back, heart forward. And perhaps coming into a forward fold. Chin is tucking in so the back of the skull lengthens. Push forward with your front foot. All right, re-bend into that front knee, step back, downward facing dog. Let's all bring knees down, take a brief child's pose. Let's take 3 more breaths in your child's pose. And just remember, we started a few minutes late, so we're going to end a few minutes late as well. We're going to do 1 more lunge sequence, and then we're going to change it up. All right, back to all fours or down dog. If you want to step through from down dog, that is your choice. I'm showing modifications. We have a mixed group today. Right foot forward. Inhale, circle your arms up. Exhale, hands down to the floor or your blocks. Lift the back knee. Spin that back heel down. Keep the front knee over the ankle and then circle the arms up. We're coming into a warrior 1 position. Bring your palms together. Press the thumbs and the brow together. Lift the front of your pelvis up and lengthen through the tail. Maybe a little back bend if you're set. Take your time. Good. Release, stretch the arms up. And then circle them behind you. Interlace your palms. Pull the palms apart, open the chest, maybe looking up. And then humble warrior, bring your belly onto your thigh and reach the arms up. If you want to go farther, head comes down inside the leg, folding in more deeply. Hold it there. Really power up through your back leg, root into the back heel, and let your hips slightly shift towards your back leg. That'll help give you a little more balance. Release your hands down to the ground. Spin onto the ball of your back foot. And straighten your front leg 1 more time into that pyramid variation. Option to fold or not. Good. Inhale, bend into your front knee. Step it back, downward facing dog or tabletop position. From either dog or table, left foot forward. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, hands down, warrior 1. Lift the back knee, spin onto the ball of the back foot. Inhale, circle the arms up. Good, palms in front of your heart, in front of your forehead. Press, forehead and thumbs. Back leg super straight and strong, root into that heel for stability, and then maybe a little back bend. If you feel shaky here, skip the back bend. Good, inhale, reach the arms up, circle them behind you for humble warrior. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, either belly to thigh, pause there, or fold inside the leg. But when you fold inside the leg, that left hip juts to the side. Swing your hips a little bit towards your back leg. Lift the shoulder heads and feel like you're emptying out through the crown. Good, release your hands down, step it back, down dog or tabletop position. And then let's all meet in one more child's pose. A few more breaths. Now we're gonna switch the focus a little bit more toward the ground and some floor work to finish out our sequence. So let's take a few more breaths there in your child's pose. We really worked a lot of hips there. Hips are great for working gallbladder, liver energy. So when the hips are stagnant, oftentimes our liver chi is stagnant. So really good to keep those hips nice and fluid. Lots of benefit for our lower back as well, which leads into kidney energy. Okay, we're gonna come into pigeon pose from here. So hopefully everyone can take this pose. If you need to modify, you can do like a figure 4 on your back. So I'll show that in a moment. Those of you who are taking pigeon might want to have something for under your hip, under your sit bone. So you could grab a blanket or a pillow or a block. And then you can either enter from table or down dog. I kind of like down dog better. It gives me a little bit more freedom. Slide the right knee by the right wrist. And your left leg is straight back behind you. Now here's where you can pull in a little support under that front hip. Take some of the pressure out of your front knee. If this doesn't feel good, you're going to do a figure 4 on your back. So let me just show that real quick. Cross ankle to knee. And you're going to still get that same outer hip stretch. Okay? So those of you who can take pigeon are going to be in pigeon. Start up on your hands. Arms are straight. Think about tipping your pelvis to the back so your sit bones are drawing back, just like we've been doing, which helps us forward fold. And then if you can, we're going to lower down onto our forearms. We're going to stay there for a few breaths. I'm getting some sound, so somebody's not muted, so I'm just going to check that real quick, guys. Okay, there we go. And we're going to take a few more acupressure points while we are in our pigeon. First one is our brow center. So if it's comfortable for you, bend your elbows and rest your forehead on your 2 thumbs. And you're pressing right at that brow center. We've got a few more breaths there. So these are all points that are good for our vision. We're going to move the thumbs down now, right to the bridge of the nose on either side, kind of right where your tear ducts are, and press in there, right on the inner corners of the eyes. It's really good for headache and sinus as well. And of course, we're also stimulating inner, outer leg, still working with those 2 channels. All right, we're going to slowly release those points. Walk your hands back up. And we're going to swing the back leg around. So if you have a blanket there, we're going to roll to that outer hip. So take that blanket out, roll to your right hip, swing the left leg around. It's going to come to face forward. We have some options here. Option A is going to be kind of like a bound angle with that right leg, not mirroring you here. So if the leg is floating, you could put a prop underneath it. Okay, option B, we're going to take what's called half shoelace. We're going to cross the top leg over the bottom leg, which pins the thigh down. And we're going to try and line up our knees as best we can. So that's option B. You could also stick a prop underneath your seat here. Okay, hug that top leg, sit up tall, shoulders back. We're going to take an inhale, and as you exhale, keep your heart lifting as you start to fold forward. And you might be able to reach down, hold your ankle or your foot, but don't force it. If this is too much, keep that foot on the outside of your leg. Let your chin come in and take a few breaths. I want you to hold here for a little bit. Letting that attention go inward. So liver energy is governing our eyes and our vision and the overall flow of energy in our body. The liver is said in Chinese medicine to be the general of the army. So he helps get everything going, strategic planning, and helps put plans into action. So we think about springtime. It's really the energy of liver when a plant is bursting through the ground, trying to complete its potential of becoming that plant. So we can think of our own goals in that same way. That energy of bursting through, pushing through, getting it done. Slowly start to come up. And if your leg is out to the side, see if you can cross it over. So your foot is crossing over to the left. Okay, option to stay here. Or we're going to take our straight leg and tuck it back. So we're going to bend it. So we come into a twist. If it feels better, keep it out straight. Hug the shin again, sit up tall, shoulders back. Twists are really good for our liver energy, for our spine. We're gonna hold on with your left hand, take your right arm, reach it up. Inhale, try to touch the ceiling, get tall, and then make a big circle to the back. We're turning to the right, coming into a twist. Now remember your hand on your rib cage. Pull that rib cage toward the back plane, really lengthening. Draw your right shoulder blade into your body, which will help you stay tall. And let's hold here one more breath. Next inhalation, coming back to the center. Again, you have some options. We're going to come into full Golukasana pose. So the knees are stacked up on top of each other. If this doesn't feel good, sit cross legs. That's perfectly fine. Okay, inhale, sit up tall. And as you exhale, we're hinging and coming into that fold. Think about sit bones tipping back behind you. And then your chin softly comes in, letting the spine gently round. And we get a little pressure here on the leg, but also a big stretch on that right outer hip for most of us. And that's gallbladder channel. So while liver is related to the vision for the future, getting things done, helping us process toxins, the gallbladder is related to decision making, following our path in life, avoiding deviating from that path and being put off by external influences. And the capacity to regain equilibrium when life throws us off balance or places an obstruction in our path. Let's slowly start to come up. Take your time, bring your feet flat, and let's windshield wiper those legs a little bit. We're going to do that sequence on the other side, and then we're going to get to relax on our backs. Okay, when you're ready, you can either come to tabletop or down dog. And we're going to start from Pigeon Pose on your left side. So either from your dog or from your table, slide the left knee by the left wrist. Right leg straight back behind you. Stay up on your hands for a moment. We're going to pad that left sit bone if we need some support there, or do this pose on your back. Try to square off your hips a bit by bringing the left hip back, right hip a little forward. And then we lower down. If it's appropriate for you, you can also be on blocks here under your forearms. And we press the brow center with the thumbs. Staying there a little while longer. So we think of this brow center, the Ajna chakra, as our place of our inner vision. Our power to be able to imagine what we wish for ourselves and for the world. Sometimes the energy there is blocked, and we might feel really narrow-minded, very closed-minded. This helps us feel a little more open by stimulating that point. Now, next point is going to be at the corners of your nose. So bring your thumbs to the corners of your nose. And although it's by the nose, it's still a point that's related to vision in acupressure. But added benefit, good for congestion and sinus. So hold there for a few breaths. You can almost think of it as pulling energy down, draining out anything that needs to be cleared from the third eye, from the sinuses. All right, slowly let those points go and walk yourself up. We're going to lean over onto that left hip and swing the back leg around. Got a message there. Just want to make sure everything's okay. And you're either going to come into that Janu Shavasana position. Yep, I will have the recording. They'll be up on my YouTube channel probably later today or tomorrow. Okay, so either the leg out to the side, or we're going to cross it over. Your choice. Okay, and you can also sit up on a prop here. We're going to hug the shin and sit up tall. Take an inhale, exhale, hinging forward, and you can either let your hands rest down, hold your ankle, or hold your foot. And then chin might come into the forward fold. So we've got a lot of hip work here, as well as some hamstring, back chain of the body, bladder meridian. In Chinese medicine, all the meridians are going in pairs. So liver, gallbladder are a pair, and kidney, bladder are a pair. Okay, next inhale, we're slowly coming up. And we're going to make our way to the twist. So you can either bring that foot flat and come into the twist that way, or we're going to tuck that right leg back. Hug your shins, sit up tall. Okay, right hand holds on, left arm reaches high. Inhale, try to touch the ceiling, and then big circle to the back, coming into your twist. And then again, remember the hand on the rib cage. See if you can pull that rib cage toward the back plane and lift through the crown of your head. So often think about twists as like a spiral staircase. So it's like an ascension. So we're climbing up that spiral staircase, crown of the head sort of reaching up toward the sky. Inhale, unwind it back to the start. Stack up your knees, coming into the Golukasana. It's also sometimes called the shoelace. So we did half shoelace. This will be full shoelace. Or sit in a cross-leg position. Inhale, lifting up tall. Exhale, hinging forward. Hands can come to the ground. Let the chin come in. Soft breath here. Find the mind to be quiet. Nice steady breath. All right, slowly starting to walk yourself up. Lean back, bring your feet out in front of you, and let's windshield wiper the legs side to side. So release that work. Okay, so from here, we're gonna come onto our backs. Grab anything that you need for Shavasana. We're not quite there yet. We might be more than 5 minutes late. Sorry about that, guys. But if you can, stay with me. So coming onto your back, and put your feet flat. And then maybe just give the knees a hug to the chest a moment, rock a little bit. Then we're gonna let the feet drop down wide as the mat. And then let your knees drop together. Once the knees are together, pick your hips up and lengthen your lower back. So just pull the lower back out from under you so that you feel longer, tailbone lengthens, knees still together. And then let's bring the palms together, and one more time, rest your knuckles of your thumbs on your forehead. Let's let the weight of your thumbs drop into the brow center. Couple of breath cycles. Let's take 2 more breaths. Nice soft breath in the belly and try to relax through your lower back. So a lot of stuff that we did today sometimes can create a little instability there in the SI joint. So this is more stabilizing. And then slowly release your hands, separate your knees, bring both knees into the chest. Put your hands on your kneecaps, and then circle your knees out to the sides. And do that a few more cycles. Just keep circling the knees. And you can either just hug your knees in or find a happy baby position. So happy baby, we bring the feet up, and you can either hold your ankles or your feet or even behind your legs. So nice thing is we don't want the lower back to curl off the ground. Keep your spine more neutral here at the end of class. Then you can either be still or take a little rock. Okay, when you are ready to, guys, let's go ahead, hug the knees one more time, and then find your Shavasana, your final relaxation. So get anything you need to be comfortable, to be warm, maybe supporting the backs of your knees with a blanket, maybe the back of your head with a pillow. And we're going to take about 5 minutes to let everything go before we finish with a seated meditation. So we're going to end maybe about 10-15 minutes late. So now letting everything go into the ground. And as you become nice and still, you might be able to sense the flow of energy through these pathways that we just opened. Maybe you had some stagnant energy in your hips, your inner legs, your outer legs. Maybe some stagnation in the back chain of your body. So imagining all that energy now just flowing freely through these channels, clearing out fear, anxiety, and allowing you to be prepared for that inner vision that we allow for as we clear the liver channel. Connect with your breath. And as you continue to rest, we also worked a bit on the navel center with all the core work we did. So this area of the navel center is really important to the yogis, but it's also said to be our connection to this earthly plane, right? We have our connection through the umbilical cord that brings us into existence. And it is through this area that we sort of can also take on energies of the collective. Right now, the energies of the collective are very challenging. Perhaps some of those low vibration things that we talked about beginning of practice. So is there anything you are taking on from the collective that you wish to release as we end one year and make our way to another? So releasing anything you've taken on from the collective, so that when we do our meditation, we tap more into the universal. For last year's words belong to last year's language, and next year's words await another voice. And to make an end is to make a beginning. All right, everyone. I'm going to have you guys start to come out. If you need more time in Shavasana, you're welcome to stay there. But do take your time, small movements at first, slightly deeper breath take your time. Start to come out and roll to one side for a brief pause. So nice, I get to see some of your Christmas trees in the background there. I know some of you are heading out. Thank you for coming. Take your time resting on your side. When you're ready to, we're going to come up to a seated posture. And find whatever position is comfortable for you for your seated meditation. Widen the sit bones, lengthen up through the crown of the head. And we're going to start by just taking one hand to the brow center, one hand to the navel center. So again, we're kind of connecting into that collective, but now also into this inner vision. We're going to make a circle and massage the brow center a bit. Again, just opening up this channel. Really just take a circle around, massage it out. And then pause and just press again, fingers into brow center. And then we're going to release both hands down, stay tall in your spine. And we're going to visualize a column of light through our spine. And the column of light extends down through our base all the way to the center of the earth. And then we visualize it extending all the way up and out, all the way through the universe. So it's an endless column of light. And we might picture it as a color. So color that inspires you, helps you feel creative, helps you feel strengthened. So imagine that column of light, whatever color resonates with you today. And then imagine that you're right stepping into this column of light. You're very protected in this column of light. You're very safe. Connecting you with the energy of the earth and also the energy of the sky. And we can further this feeling by repeating in our minds, may only light and loving energies come through to me. And may all negative energies remain outside, starting now. We give thanks for this protection and this inspiration. I'm going to read one more passage from the Oneness book, and then we're going to conclude. It is for you who consider yourselves to be the forerunners of the shift in consciousness that marks these times, to be keenly aware of the ramifications of consciously accelerating your vibrational frequency. Monitor your responses such that you maintain a state of balance and heart-centeredness. For it is here in the heart-centered core of your being that the timeless connections with the multi-dimensional aspects of self will be made manifest. And it is here that you will encounter the gateway to reunification with the oneness that you are. Let's bring our hands together in front of the heart space. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, bowing your head to your heart. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaste. All right, I appreciate you guys being here, sharing your morning with me. Couple of quick announcements. If you like this class, I'm going to be doing an 8-week series on Sunday morning, 10:30. Hour and 15 minutes. So all of that's on my Facebook page if you haven't followed it. If you want to be on my newsletter list, please shoot me an email. I'll add you to my newsletter list. I also have a day-long winter retreat coming up, and that's at the middle to the end of February. where we're going to just do a whole day together with some journaling, some discussion, and some yoga, meditation. So if you have any questions, please email me, follow my page, and I hope to see you guys again sometime.